Join us today as we go to the 59th Winter Silhouette Show here in Temple City. Welcome everybody, this is our 59th Winter Silhouette Show here in Temple City this year. We're on a change of venue. I'm going to give you a quick shot of everything here. Change of venue based because of the construction in the front of the Arboretum. Nice quaint venue here as you walk in. We have a cedar elm here from Robert King's really nice, almost a very Chokan style, very straight up, formal, upright. Cedar elm's known for that really rough barkage or very striated barkage there, not the corking that you normally see in a tree from Michael Roberts here. Nice accent to the left. Here right next door is a ginkgo. Almost like on a slab that's on a pot, which I think is kind of cool. It's like a double potted really quick. Ginkgos are pretty hard to ramify, kind of the reason why they kind of look like sticks sometimes. Nice, cool little hollow feature right there, or not hollow, but a shardy feature right there. And the accent's kind of interesting. Check out this accent. This is like a reproduction of one of those Japanese or one of those Chinese like roof tiles, almost like a corner roof tile. Here's a guest presenter here. It's from the Descanso Bonsai Society, Cesario Perez. This is a trident maple. Very unusual trident maple. Usually trident maples are very ramified, and this is very dainty. I think it's kind of cool. Very different kind of tree. I'm right next door. It's the only blooming or surviving bloomer this year. It is a Peggy Clark ume. Right, beautiful timing, just right in for the Lunar New Year. So here in the Tokonoma, let me back up. The honoree this year is Dave Miles from the Santa Anita Bonsai Club here. He has a shohin display, a 3-point shohin display. You have a cascading elm. Right below that, it looks like a shohin liquid amber, which is unusual. You never see liquid ambers this small. And this is a cork bark elm, very different, with this very unusual accent. I don't even know what that is, but it's kind of cool. Of course, that is Dave Miles' award there, right there, the Nagata Komai Award. And of course, that scroll there. Right next door, we have a twisted pomegranate by Lindsay Shiba. If you look carefully, there is that really cool twisting or knotting right here. That usually happens when you see a root or a branch dies above, and the twisting is actually the dying or the retraction of that vascular tissue. Let me turn around real quick. Here he's from John Nielsen, is a Kiwaheme. We've seen this kind of tree before. It's almost a very broom style. Let me back up a little bit, a little broom style. They almost ramify themselves. See the round? It's about. Let's look at the buds on that tree. It looks like it's going to pop anytime soon. Right next door to him is Michael Roberts and his classic cork oak. Oh, sorry, classic cork elm. And he wasn't kidding when he says the elms this year is budding really early. You can see their buds all over this tree. Look how densely ramified this tree is. It's absolutely crazy. And the amazing part about it, usually when you get this dense, your inner branching usually dies out, but you get some really strong ramified branches that's deep inside, which really great job there. That's another one of my trees. This is a Princess Persimmon. really unusual. Why I thought it was unusual as this tree is that the twisting of the trunk lines. And that's pretty much it. No, I don't think it's very special. I think it's well ramified for a Princess Chrysanthemum, I think. Right next door, we have a candy kitchen from Ed Clark. Again, Ed Clark's a classic maple grower up in Central California. Accents to the left there. Excuse me. Candy Kitchen is really unusual. I'm trying to find a Candy Kitchen. Candy Kitchen has these really short internodes, thick lobed leafage, always bright cherry red, which is really unusual, and it stays red. But if you're like in my area where you don't get direct sun on it, it actually turns green, which is kind of interesting. So that's kind of interesting back there. On the other side, it is a Chinese elm. Well, this is a Saikei, not a classic forest. Reason why it is a Saikei is because you have some rocks in this landscape, so that becomes that Saikei. But it's actually well done, well ramified. These trees really work together. A single species, especially, they're going outside that, the pot line, I call it. A really nice tree on that one. Right next door, we have a Persian quince. I have no idea what a Persian quince is. I think that's kind of cool. That's a potato vine. Excuse me. Right next door, it says accent. No fruiting on this Persian quince. I wonder if it's like an edible fruit. Maybe I'll ask him when I get a chance later today. Right door, we have this. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Here, I'll let you guys look up that. If you guys can pronounce that for me, leave that in the channel. It'd be great. It looks like a desert or very drought-tolerant type of plant. This is from Jack Reynolds. Jack, of course, is very, I call him very eccentric. He has very unique plants in his collection, and that sure is one of them. Look at that. Look at the exfoliation of that bark. It's really cool. Very different. Glad he brought something unusual. We have a Catlin elm by Shahi Kaylee. I hope I pronounced that right. If I didn't, excuse me. It's a Catlin elm. Very small, very dainty, very cool, very looking tree. Nice pot. Nice combination. I think it's very beautiful. Right next door, we have a contorted quince by Gabriel Gonzalez. In a very beautiful blue pot there. Very nice combination. Actually, well done. Look at this one. It's nice and blooming. That's hard to do when we get a nice time bloom like that. You get a closer branches are what we call naturally contorted. And these are thorny too. If I had one of these guys hurt me, make a mistake there. Beautiful tree. Right next door, we have a cork bark maple by Joel Galgul. You've seen this tree before. He did some. These trees are really hard to ramify. They don't really want to grow. So if you have, this is more like a pine bark versus a cork bark. I'm not sure if I can convey like Aokawa. It's much more corky. Can't describe that one, but yeah. Here is a first-time shower. I love these first-time showers. Kyuhei Mepe from Dustin Shang. If you look carefully, it's too big to be classified as a shohin, but it's getting to the point that scale is actually done pretty well. Look at those accents. Really cool. Here's a ginkgo from Emma Janza. It's an old tree. You can tell it's an old tree. Look at the nobari and that lovely trunk there. Very unusual. Again, these things are really hard to ramify. That's all about ginkgos. Right next door, we have a crepe myrtle by Kathy Benson. Nothing flowering yet. Crepe myrtles are known for that really muscular trunk line, exfoliating barkage, and of course it's bloomed during either the spring or the fall. Okay, I wonder what color this is. I should ask Kathy what color this is. We got a busy row here. So we got a busy row here. This is a broom elm. That's a broom elm. I'll ask maybe Peter what it is. This is a Peter Mac tree. You see the dense ramified crown there. It almost kind of looks like a Catlin elm. I wonder if that is a Catlin elm variety. Of course, you have the 3-point display with a Princess Persimmon. Okay. I'll come back to this one really quick. We have a Chinese elm by Johann Garcia. I think this is actually his first time showing. I have to talk to him a little later today. It is a Chinese elm. And of course, look, it's interesting that all these elms are actually pushing growth really at this point. Late January, pushing growth. Nice combination for a first time shower. Right next door we have from a twisted pomegranate. Again, it's another twisted pomegranate we saw earlier from Lindsay Shiba. Again, I see that muscular twist, and you can see those the dead parts of the trunk line. That's kind of gives you that muscular twist, especially that part dying right there and giving that, you know, the lifeline, if you can per se. This is Tetsuo Nakamura. Really nice pattern there, you know. These things are hard to ramify. I had past tense, I gave it up. I just couldn't ramify really well. Here's the Oriental Liquid Amber from Takshimazu. Check this out. Look how ramified these things are. Look how and again, it's that combination of movement, taper, and this denseness of a winter silhouette, and it makes this awesome tree. I like it. It has that combination. Again, when you're well, you know your craft well, like Tak does. It really shows on that tree style here. Okay. Let me turn around really quick. Here is a swamp maple from Doyle Sato, excuse me. Swamp maples are usually like a native tree to the southeast, better known as where swamps come from. What's unusual, it has a dead line right down the center of the tree, a hollow, which is unusual for even displaying a tree like this. And it's half alive. Look, it's really just half alive, that branch, or the trunk line's half alive. And it's still flowering. Check this out. It's actually flowering in early January, which is kind of cool. That's really cool. Sorry for the momentary pause here. We had a birthday going on here in the background here. This is a ginkgo forest from Greg Koffel. We've seen this last year. This is unusual. He actually built his own stand. I think the stand's kind of impressive too. Very unusual. It is a modular design, but it matches the tree very perfectly, or the setting very perfectly as it matches in scale. Again, it's real. I like the composition. It's really nice. Let me go on this side really quick on the side here. We have a broom style Chinese elm by Elaine Kishik. I'm sorry, Elaine or Ellen. Excuse me, Ellen. If I mispronounce your last name there. What's really unusual of this tree, or what makes it really special, is the taper, the scale of this tree, especially going from the down the trunk line, the bar, all the way up to the very tips of that of the tree is well done. If you look carefully, the taper is just well done, and especially, let me go on like an undershot. Check out that ramification. That's really cool, especially all the negative space that you see. I think that's real done on that one. Okay. Right next to Ellen is Bill's Ward's Chinese elm. You know, I think to me, it's more a Penjing or the Chinese style, but you know what? It's still winter silhouette, does really well. Really nice padding on that one. Really big scale tree. It's really hard to do that on a big scale tree. Then we have this Korean hornbeam by Marin Padars. If I pronounce her name, Marv, tell me I did a horrible job. It's triple trunk Korean hornbeam. Korean hornbeams are really interesting. They have this white or gray bark. I think Japanese hornbeam has a gray bark. I think Korean hornbeam has a more whiter color. But they almost ramify themselves. It's really cool. A nice triple trunk. You don't really see that. Okay. We have one more row in the back. Let me get that really quick. It's a contorted quince. Oops, sorry, you can't see that one. It's a contorted quince by Sally. And this is actually a client, Steve Valentine. It's not blooming yet. Unlike the other one from Gabe, that's full bloom. This is not bloom. So you can actually see the kind of the silhouette of that tree with a little rose accent. I think this is a Chinese elm. I could be wrong. Really unusual with a sharp right in the middle, especially on a deciduous tree. Last we have here is, or one of the last trees we have here is a Chinese elm by Cheryl Manning. It is almost like a root over rock. Almost like a root over rock here. And again, it's just pushing off blooms here, especially this late in that winter period here. So that's kind of unusual. Hey, last tree here is from Shirley Kwan. A double pair is a ume with an elm. You get a really close look, and that's really cool. So how well ramified that is. Okay. And of course, she has that classic ume here. Awesome. Let me just turn around really quick and do some quick comments. If you guys like that video, or actually say, if you like this video, go like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the 59th Winter Silhouette Show from Baikoen Bonsai Club here in Southern California. I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.